should know that with the information you'll be getting, then automatically you have 300 plus. Our desire is to actually make you have edge over your colleagues, over your peers. This year's registration is the highest so far, since JAM, since the history of JAM. Over 2 million registered this year. Unlike previous years, 1.8 million, 2 million, almost 2 million, but at least this year, people that registered were more than 2 million candidates. And the funny thing is this, the space, available space for those that want to go to the university, especially the universities of your choice, is still limited. Because if we ask one or two students here, you'll be telling us you want to go to UI, you want to go to OAU, you want to go to, some of these schools that you actually want to go. But the space there, the quota, there is no school that can admit students beyond its quota. And that is why you need to work harder. Because it's not everybody that can actually have capacity, the money to attend private schools. And that is why I will always advise that be very careful of peers' influence. Somebody you are trying to copy, you don't know you don't know his background. If anything happens today, the parents or the family may decide that, Nigeria is not even fit for you. Yeah, travel out of the country, go and study. It's possible. And you will not even know. You will be copying the person. You will go out together. Instead of you to be in the class, you will do many things together. And that is why you have to be very, very careful. And at this particular point in time, I expect that your best friend should be your book. And aside your book, your best friend should also be, someone you have the same vision together. For example, you want to study medicine, I expect your best friend to be someone that also wants to study medicine or nursing. You understand? You want to study engineering, I expect that somebody that you are having similar courses to write in JAM, similar subjects, to be your best friend. So that by the time you are solving the questions together, you know more. And when you get to the examination hall, you'll be able to perform better. I trust God. I don't know how God will do it. I trust God for this year 2020, that is 2025 UTME, that the best UTME results will come from APT. Yeah, the best UTME results will come from APT. How come that people from the East, most times they get it, we have people too in APT that are brilliant. Honestly, we have people in APT too that are brilliant. But the challenge with a lot of people is you guys give up easily. For two. We got the information about their cutoff mark. When we got the information about their cutoff mark, I was so happy. And when we checked the list, we realized that this person met with the merit. You understand? Merit list. This guy met the cutoff mark. Merit. Then suddenly, I think they needed more money. Money don't mean. So I think they needed more money, and they still feel more people can still, there are ways that all these schools, they generate money. You understand? They bind every spirit of distraction. All right. So we just felt that You know, some of these schools, they make more money from the uh, post-UTME registrations and the like. So honestly, inú wa ti ń dùn pé ọmọ ẹ ti rà admission yẹn because out of this person, the O level, we check the O level. You know, there are some schools, they will use grading system. Many schools now, they use grading system. They don't want to disturb themselves. They will just look at your O level. They look at your JAM score. They will now grade it, and you'll be given admission. For example, OYE, they are using grading system. Union Show, grading system. XU, grading system. Unlike IFE, UI, Unipen, you will write exams, and they will now determine your admission based on your JAM score and your post-UTME score. So when we check, this guy's O level, A1, 4, A1 in physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. Then in English, B2. Then the JAM score was 278. So when we calculate everything, it was 79.9. And the initial merit list was 78. 78. So ọkàn wa ti balẹ̀ pé ó ti pure. But suddenly they now said the deadline for the post-UTME admission, that the deadline has been shifted. So eventually, by the time the deadline they now give, the new deadline, after that time, they have finished post-UTME at UI. They have finished post-UTME at IFE. So people that did not meet up with their post-UTME quota, their admission quota, everybody now came to Union Show. Before we knew what happened, the cut-off mark merit from 78, you understand, or 78 or thereabout, it jumped to 86. So èèyàn tá ti rò pé wíwá ó ti rí admission, at the end of the day, it was cut short. And not even like that. They now said they wanted to do accreditation, they will give them more space, and the likes. And by the time they were doing that, we checked again, the number was 57, and they were telling us that they would pick 100 medicine because they have enough space from medical council, that they have enough. So suddenly they said, that the people they have admitted before, that something has happened, this and that. This guy was on number 57, so when they reduced the score, they reduced it to 50. So 57 did not meet up. Are you getting it? Secondly, the people that did not get admission in UI, in Unipen, OAU, they have come and they have better scores. That is why it's not about the A1, everything will work together for your good. Your own level, at the same time, your JAM score. So the guy is actually writing the exam again this year. So if there's any effort, if there's any power, if there's any energy you can add to give you that extra mark you desire in the forthcoming UTME, please apply it. You understand? If it is possible for you not to sleep now, so that you can have that desired score, please reduce your sleep now. Are you getting what I'm saying? Because how come? Anything will shift the gates fún post-UTME yẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá meet up for many, anything can happen, and that is Nigeria for you. Policy can affect you. The school policy can affect. The Nigeria's policy can affect. The state's policy can affect. You understand? They brought out forms in Akuba. They said, okay, people who are coming for nursing, they just released the form, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people were changing to Akuba. Before we knew what happened, close to 20,000 have applied. The space, 50 people. 50 lọ fẹ́ gbà, àwọn 20, more than 20,000 ti apply. And from the 50 gone, ọmọ senator one there, ọmọ governor. Are you getting what I'm saying? So, it is very, very important to do whatever you want to do at the right time, so that everything will make sense. So the long and short of what I'm just saying is this. Please, you guys must be very, very serious with your studies. And that is the only legacy. That is the only thing your parents can give to you. For your parents who have actually given you 2005 to come for this seminar, that means they are trying. They want the best from you. And it will not all go well if at the end of the day, you do not perform very well. You understand? Like I always say, that to succeed, honestly, is in your hands. To fail is in your hands. To succeed personally is in my hands. And to fail as well is in my hands. I've shared that story before about an elderly person who has a butterfly. You know, they said the man is the oldest and the wisest in that village. And they know, everybody knows. But these young guys, two young guys, they felt, this man is not the oldest, he's not the wisest. We will make him fool today. You understand? They said they will make fool of that man. And the friend was now asking him, how will you make this man a foolish person? He said, we will get there. By the time we get there, we will ask him that, sir, you gave us a butterfly to nurse many years ago. Is he still alive or dead? And the friend was now asking, what if the Baba now tells you that the butterfly is alive? What will you do? He said, if it's alive, so this is in my hand. I will just crush it. And I'll say, Baba, you are a liar. You are not the wisest. See, the butterfly is dead. The boy said, confirm. What if the man now said, the butterfly is dead? What will you do? He said, instead of me to squeeze it, I'll just open my hand gently, and the butterfly will fly away. He said, confirm. He said, it's true. This man cannot be the wisest and the oldest. He will make it fool today. And when they got to that man, the Baba, is the oldest. By the time they now met the man, they said, Baba, good afternoon. He said, good afternoon. Baba, can you remember that long time ago, you gave us a butterfly to nurse? We have only confirmed. We have only come to you to confirm if the butterfly you gave to us is still alive or dead. Baba, the Baba truly is the wisest. And the Baba said, that is, no matter how a young person has clothes, the rag cannot be compared as the one of an elderly person. No matter what. Do you know how many clothes the elderly person would have used till he becomes old? You understand? He said, the butterfly I gave to you long time ago actually represents your destiny. Yeah. And he said, as I gave it to you, it symbolized your destiny. You are the one that will decide whether the butterfly will live or die. My sons, you can decide to squeeze it and the butterfly will die, or you open your hand for the butterfly to fly away and the butterfly will fly. So it can live or die. The decision is yours. I found a voice there for Jabon. Truly, this man is the wisest and the oldest. So what am I trying to say? Either you succeed in this UTME 2025, is in your hand. Either you fail, is in your hand. The ball is in your court. I trust God that whatever the power, the capacity the Lord has actually given to us to help you, is going to, we will try our best to push you. But you guys should just be more, give it more attention, please. Any information that will be coming out to you, give it more attention. You are bringing some experts that have, they are familiar with likely questions. That will be teaching you the likely questions, possible questions and answers, and you have to grab it. For example, the English that will be coming up. If you look at the 5 different aspects, Jan will test you guys. The English expert that will be coming to take you now will cover the major aspects. Are you getting it? The comprehension, the closed text, the oral. Are you getting my point? Short. We'll be touching it and we'll be analyzing it, dissecting it in the next 1.5 hours to 1 hour 45 minutes. Then I strongly believe in the other aspect apart from English. Today, sciences, you guys should be having physics and chemistry. And I know Doctor will do justice to that. He has said some questions that are so, that you should expect the kind of those questions. Then by tomorrow, I'm bringing some guys who scored 90-something in their physics, scored 90-something in their chemistry, scored 90-something in their biology, to come and tell us how they did it, the areas they cover, and how you guys can also do the same. Then literature. You understand? You have literature experts, you have CRS experts, then we have economics experts, we have commercial experts, accounts. So, the only help I want you guys to do for me, are you getting my point, is your attention. Do less with your phone the next 3 days. Do less with your phone. Do less with your phone. Phone is the major distractor that can take from your mark in UTME. You know, I don't need to overflow that. Even this morning, you may decide to pray. Before you know what happened, you forget to pray because something just came in from the TikTok, something came in from the status. Before you know what happened, time has gone. Marathon class. Some of you did not pray today because of distractions from phone. You were supposed to read for how many hours yesterday? You didn't read enough simply because of distractions from phone. So it has destroyed a lot of destinies, and it has also made some destinies. I've seen a lot of people who commented on our YouTube channel. They are learning on a daily basis. And if there's any gift I want you to give me, guys, please make sure, if you have not subscribed to The Rock at The Rock Tutors YouTube, make sure you subscribe before you leave here today. As a matter of fact, if you have your phone, I want you to go to your YouTube now and subscribe at The Rock Tutors. DEROCKTUTORS. Are you getting it? On YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook. And do you know that this program, this program will be finishing 21st, which is Monday, right? Tuesday is my birthday, 22nd. You understand? So the gift you can give to me, just subscribe to my channel. Are you ready to do that for me? Then don't do it alone. Share it to your friends. Are you getting my point? Share it to your friends. We are live now on YouTube, and we are going to post the link to the WhatsApp platform. So that it's been posted already. All right. So please help us share it. As the work will be moving on, let your friends also be streaming, let them be watching it live, so that they can also be impacted. You understand? And that is the essence of life, adding values to life. That is the essence of life. Nothing more, nothing less. The Lord will continue to help us in Jesus' name. So you guys should sit back, relax, and I trust God that at the end of the program, and at the end of your UTME 2025, you are coming back with mega testimony. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I can see you are radiant. And then I'll need utmost attention from you. Most of you must have been preparing, and we have some too that might have played away a lot of time. But whatever the case, we are still going to do lots of justice before you write the exams, as I wish you best of luck. Okay. We'll be taking you through English language and possible questions for the UTME forthcoming 2025. We have dealt with most of these kind of questions, and if you are one that has actually been actually checking up most of the YouTube channels, the TikToks and other social media, definitely you should not be new to most of these we want to be talking about. Actually, it is actually ironical that English is the most taken subject, which we actually started from the pre-nursery school throughout this time. And then after the exams, we do discover that the lowest marks are usually recorded in English. So it's a big irony at that. So, and most times, whimsically looking at it, I think you guys have been solving most of these questions per suitability or having not to have an in-depth analysis of how the questions come up. But we're with them. Whatever it is, we're going to get them thrashed. Is that taken? So I'll be taking you through most of the aspects We have the comprehension passages, the closed text, which is register. We have the selected text, but I will not take you that way. Then we have the mixes and structural aspect, then the oral word. So first, we are going to start with the comprehension passage. Okay, make sure you listen attentively and take note of whatever is said. This is the salient aspect of English, which is the comprehension passage, because it takes the chunks of mark in the UTME. Each correctly gotten answer here takes 3 marks, unlike every other aspect. So, and you are going to have 5 questions. So each question 3 marks, so that makes about 15 marks. So that is why you must not take it with levity. So mostly the passages are about 500 to 600 words, and from which some 5 questions will be sponged. So the best way is that mostly the reasons you have not picked the right answers are the fact that you have not actually adopted the correct reading methods and the answering methods to the passages. You guys have only been scoring well in your O level or the school exams due to the fact that under comprehensions, you provide your answers yourself. But in UTME, they are to provide the answers for you. So that is why most of the options picked are not the answers, because all the options are usually contained in the passage. So first, before you attempt the passage reading, the first thing you do is to quickly scan or skim the questions, so that will give you a preparedness to what you are going to see in the passage. Most of these passages are succinctly written by academic writers, so attaining some level of philosophy. So there's never a kind of simple way you can actually understand it in a jiffy. So, and with the time given, with the time allotted to all the questions, definitely if you had wasted most of your time, you have no enough time to attend to all other questions. So make sure each paragraph is taken note of, because each paragraph contains a topic sentence. There's something discussed in a paragraph. And by the time you are picking your options too, you must have evidence in the passage. You don't just pick any answer without evidences. Any answer you have picked, you must take it back and look for where the evidence is in the passage you have read. If you can't find it, then definitely you have picked a wrong option. So, mind you, like I've said, all options are wittingly written in the passage. So, but you must be able to actually differentiate between when you have a major point and a minor point in a passage. So from there, especially the first and the last paragraphs, they usually coincide, because we have introduction. There are 3 major paragraphs to any write-up: the introductory, the explanatory, which is the body paragraph, and the concluding paragraph. So most times, we have some types of questions that will be doled out. The contextual questions, which has to do with the context, that is, what was actually discussed in the passage. We have questions on meanings, that is, dictions. From here, some words, phrases, or idioms may be used in the passage. It may be italicized or underscored. Then you'll be asked, what does it mean according to the passage? So we have questions too on reasonings. That is, some things are not expressly mentioned in the passage, but implied. From there, you'll be asked questions based on that. So it's not as if those questions are just written, scribbled out, but from the fact that there are some aspects they really want to test the candidates, which is the cognitive aspect of your reasoning. So from there, let's quickly um, scan the question before going to the passage proper. Again, the immature adult is like the child because, okay, what main difference mentioned between the child, okay, what rights has the mother to give order to the child, okay? 4. The 2-year-old child begins to refuse orders, okay? Why? What kind of awareness does the child demonstrate at 2? Now let's go to the passage. So having done that, ordinarily we have quickly scanned so that in the course of reading, this is the best way you use. In the course of now going to the passage, there are some relics of what you have scanned in your brain. So by the time you are reading the passage, easily you can pick at some aspect that, okay, it seems question actually comes out there. Now quickly, say by the time a child has reached the age of 2 years, the psychologists say that he is self-conscious. Mind you, you must always abide by the rules of punctuations. If you don't respect punctuations, it may impede your understanding. This is not the same as the lay use of a term, although there is a connection. The psychologists mean that the child is aware that he is a self and not an extension of his mother. This awareness is shown in such behavioral acts as disobedience and the use of the word no with emphasis. Because the child is aware that he does not have to obey parental commands. No. Which is moral imperatives, are given throughout these 2 years for the child's own safety, e.g., don't touch the fire, and secondly, so that he begins to develop some sense of right and wrong. An adult is able to weigh the consequences of his action, partly because he has developed the concept or idea of time. Take note, because there was a time they say difference between adult and child. The young child lacks this concept and is governed by immediate desires which must be fulfilled. Thus, in some situations, it can be excused for not being morally, that is, making the choice which is good for himself and in others. In other situations, he knows what is right and chooses not to do it. Immature adults can also behave in this self-centered way. Now we move on. Now say the immature adult is like the child because A, he has just become self-conscious. B, he has learned to use the word no. C, he has no concept of time. D, some of his actions are deliberately irrational. Let's move to the last paragraph so I will not waste much of time. Now, if you see something here, you say, thus, in some situations, it can be excused for not being morally, that is, making the choice which is good for himself and others. In other situations, he knows what is right and chooses not to do it. Immature adults, can you see now? That is child now. Thus, in some, it can be excused for not being morally, that is, making choice which is good for himself and others. Now say, in other situations, he knows what is right and chooses not to do it. Immature adults can also behave in this self-centered way. Now, to the question back. The immature adult is like the child because you can see they have some connections there. Because they say even the adult, the immature adult also behave in this way. Because they now say the immature adult is like the child because what? So which is telling us that is an interconnection. So what is the correlation between how the child behaves and how an immature adult behaves. He has just become self-conscious. He has learned to use the word no. He has no concept of time. Some of his actions are deliberately irrational. So what do you think is the answer? Exactly. Some of his actions are deliberately irrational. Because from the last paragraph, it is noteworthy that the child, they say, actually is conscious of that self-centeredness, that he deliberately does not want to do what is trying to excuse himself, does not want to do even what is right or wrong. Then he now say the adult, immature adults can also behave in this self-centered way. So which way? The issue of being irrational in behavior. Is that understood now? So that is why you will see, like I said, you can always look for your evidence before you know that you have picked answers. The evidence of the answer. That is, where did you get your answer? You can see the answer to number one being the last, even the last paragraphs. So that is why you must always be conscious of each of the paragraphs, whatever each paragraph, because there is a topic sentence in a paragraph. What main difference mentioned between the child and the adult? Then where do they have some kind of contrast? Age difference, weight difference, time difference, developmental difference. Let's go to the first. Okay. This is not the same. Okay. Go to the next paragraph. The next one. Okay. Yes. Parental commands, that is moral imperatives, are given throughout these 2 years for the child's own safety. E.g., don't touch the fire, and secondly, so that it begins to develop some sense of right and wrong. Now say, an adult is able to weigh the consequences of his actions, partly because he has developed a concept or idea of what? Time. So that contrasted with the child. So now getting back to the question. What main difference mentioned between the child and the adult? Time difference. That is good. So it's good you are following. So you always see that there is every tendency in the passage which will give you an inkling as to having the best form of options to pick. You must be able to take it back. That where is this mentioned? Evidence is the first thing you use. The next question. What right has the mother to give orders to the child? What kind of right does the mother have to give orders to the child? She is the owner of the child. Now, mind you, these kind of questions are questions on reasonings. Don't reason outside the passage. Every answer must be pointed out from the passage. Don't say because, yes, he is the owner of the child, so that is, and you have not seen that in the passage. So mind you, every option you must pick must outrightly be in the passage. What right has the mother to give orders to the child? One, she is the owner of the child. B, she is stronger than the child. C, she understands the environment better than the child. D, she is more self-conscious than the child. Now let's go to the first paragraph. Okay. The next one. Okay. Parental commands, imperation now, which is the issue of order. You know, what right does the parent have to give order to the child? So you see issue of command. Parental command, that is moral imperative, are given throughout these 2 years for the child's own safety. E.g., don't touch the fire, and second, so that it begins to develop some sense of right and wrong. So what is the right now does the parent have to give order to the child? Okay. An adult is able to weigh the conscience. Okay, you have actually talked about it. But they are given throughout these 2 years for the child's own safety. That is, for example, don't touch the fire, and secondly, so that it begins to develop some sense of right and wrong. So now, getting back to the question, please. What right has the mother to give order to the child? She is the owner of the child. She is stronger than the child. She understands the environment better than the child. She is more self-conscious than the child. Yes? Uh, with the information we read, we are for it. So which one gives an inkling? Which order? What's the right to order here? Okay. She understands the environment better than the child. Okay, she's more self-conscious than the child. Let us get back to the passage. Yeah. Okay. Now, look at it here. Parental commands, that is moral imperation, and imperatives here, are given throughout these 2 years for the child's own safety. Mind you, the child's own safety. Okay, the child's own safety. That is, this serves an example now. This is where you should have the answer for the child's own safety. For example, don't touch the fire. Don't touch the fire. They will now have secondly, so that it begins to develop some sense of right and wrong. There are two reasons here. For your own safety, okay, that is why I'm giving you this order. And also, to be able to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. Now, getting back to the question, which one is the right to the order? Yes? The question, please. She understands the environment better than the child. Is that it? Who has a counter answer? Yes. Your answer is what? Actually, the answer is C. We are not talking about self-consciousness there. Talking about the environment, even the two examples given, is still talking about ability to understand the environment. So it is from there you decipher what is wrong, what is right. It is not the issue of self-consciousness. Is that taken? The next question. Next question. The 2-year-old child begins to refuse order. Why? In order to annoy his parents, because he does not understand them. To assert his independence, because he has just learned the word no. Yes? Even without going there, let's go to the passage where he has a no. Okay. 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 The first paragraph. Okay. This is not the same as use of time, although there is a connection. Okay. Okay, now, you say this is the evidence. The psychologist means that the child is aware that he is a self and not an extension of his mother. So that is trying to say independence. That is not, that is trying to be himself, that I'm not an extension, I'm just me. Is that okay? Let's go to the question back. Okay. See, the 2-year-old begins to refuse others. In order to, is it to annoy? No. He does not understand them, that is no. To assert his independence. He's trying to say, no, just like the way we behave. Anytime your parents tells you anything, it looks like I understand that I'm just me. You cannot be me, isn't it? So exactly what the psychologist is trying to say. So the fifth question, what kind of awareness does the child demonstrate at 2? What kind of awareness does the child demonstrate at 2? that he does not love his mother, consciousness of all things around him, that he should think of himself alone, that he is different and separate from others. Yes, at 2. Now let's go to the first paragraph. First, the previous one. Okay. By the time a child has reached the age of 2 years, the psychologist says that he is self-conscious. Now, now, mind you, this is not how you just speak directly. You still must go forward and look if there is more evidence, because something is saying here, he said, this is not the same as the lay use of the term. This is not the same as the lay use of the term. What does lay mean? Ordinary or quack, not professional. Although there is a connection. That is, what is saying here that by the time a child has reached the age of 2, the psychologist say that he is self-conscious, in quotes. Now say this is not the same as the lay use of the term. That is the ordinary use. Okay. Now, this is not the same as the lay use of the term, although there is a connection. The psychologist means that, now, this is what you can see. That's why you cannot just get at a point and you start picking your answers. Truly, had it been you did not go forward, immediately you see the issue of self-consciousness. That is what you pick. So, even if it is going to be an answer, so continue here. The psychologist means that the child is aware that he is a self and not an extension of his mother. So, what's now the answer? That is a separate entity. Go to okay, that is a different and separate from others. So it's not actually the issue of consciousness of all things around it. Do you understand now? That is, first, he said, we say the child has reached consciousness, but now negated it, that this is not as it means, because that is a lay use. That what actually it means is the fact that he begins to know that is not an extension of others, that is a separate entity. Is that taken now? Hope you understand before we move to other topic. Any question about comprehension passage? Now, one more thing to add, because there is no evidence of that question here, is question about meanings, which is dictions. At times where you'll be asked, pick an option that tallies or that has the same words as the one used in the passage. Mind you, to every word, there are two meanings. We have the connotative meaning, which is the figurative meaning, as used. Then we also have the literal meaning, which is denotative, dictionary meaning. So most times you shouldn't go for the dictionary meaning. Rather, you go for the connotative meaning. The meaning according to how it is used in the context. Do you understand what I mean? So at times, don't rush to go and pick your answers. And more importantly, like I said, this is the most technical aspect of English, the comprehension passage. If you know you are not able to do it yet, you can go and attempt other questions, because it carries the chunk of the mark. You may go and attend other questions and come back to it later. It is not something you toy with. All other ones, you score like 0.25. You answer 4 before you answer 1. But this one, each correctly chosen is 3 marks. Then for register, the closed passage, the one we are moving to now, each correctly chosen one is 2 marks. Then your selected text, the book you are asked to read. What's the name of the book? Okay. So, and even to me, I wouldn't say you should even be taught that one, because it's like teaching you laziness. As you are given just a novel to read, you still want someone to come and explain the novel to you. I can't imagine the level of laziness of candidates this generation. It is sardonic that year in, year out, it grows worse. Those whom we thought 5 years ago are better than 4 years ago. 4 years better than 3 years ago. Now it's even, but I don't know how to describe it. Will I say maybe as a result of maybe social, but there was social media then too. But this time around, games, games. While I was coming around Nova Junction, there, this is some girl there uh, who held the phone and was still doing, I don't know, it was unimaginable. She would have been hit by an Okada, but because I even became furious that the Okada man did not hit her, because I wanted her hit. It doesn't mean I am bad, but because, you see, we're talking about consciousness. All these are not questions. They are things you can easily do. It is one thing to speak, it is another to speak well. English is not difficult at all. It's a language, so you just know the nitty-gritties. So, and when it comes to this comprehension aspect, I need to really, what have you read? What you read is what you should be able to program. And like I said, don't rush. There are some evidences, the comprehension passage and the register, they follow the same trend. You don't just rush and pick. No, wait. After you read the first line, there may be an explanation at the second line. But immediately you have seen an evidence, you pick. So look for a better evidence that was it negated later. So because some will be negated, then by the time we get to register two, you don't solve it one by one. You have to look at the surrounding environment. So we move now to closed passage. Yes, this is what we call register. We have different fields of endeavors. And when it comes to collocations, there are words that are actually apt to one field or the other. Each field has certain term or language used. So, because we have some synonymous words, programs, processions, proceeding, okay, process, agenda, they can still go in line. But what is used in a certain field is actually different from the other. If you go to the church, you can have your church program. If you go to some occultic kind of, you can have some processions there. But if you go to court, you have court proceedings. So these are some kind of special terms that are used. And mind you, you may be in the sciences and your register, your closed passage will come from something accounting. Okay, and you may be in accounting and your register may be based on sports. So that is why before your exams, try as much as possible, go and get some of the glossary of terms of different fields. Because we have 10 questions there. So you don't toy with 10 questions that has 2 marks each. To a lawyer, you have a client. The same person to a doctor will be a patient. It will be inappropriate for a doctor to tell you, is my client. So a driver, the person will be a passenger. To a business person, the person will be a customer. So there are different names you use in different aspects. So you never can tell which one will come out. And you have no excuse as students because you survived far from JSS through your SS3. So you must have treated a lot of registers. So by now you shouldn't say there is a particular line, science and technology, health and medicines, crimes, law, you know, accounting, economics, government. So most of these sports, you shouldn't say because I'm not a sportist, so I shouldn't know the languages used in sports. So try as much as possible. Whatever you can do, you have some glossary of those terms. So what are words associated with this? What does it mean? So that you never, any question that comes before you should be able to tackle. Here, unlike the previous comprehension passage, this one is a closed passage. Passages will be written while some words are expunged. They'll be taken away from the passage, then lines will be filled up. So that is now having to tell you, you should pick an option that can fill the passage, that can fill the line. So we have 10 of them. Say, use the passage below to answer questions 6 to 15. Passage has a. Now, immediately following each gap, 4 options are provided. Choose the most appropriate options for each gap. Next one. Okay, I think this passage now. All right. On the 21st of June 1994, the Director General received in his office a visitor, the first of his kind in his life. Even though he really could not make any meaning out of his name, the visitor's second statement that it was a court dash. It was a court dash. So we have some options: daily, messenger, litigant, that readily, I think that word should be readily gave the Director General clear picture of the man's purpose. So, now I have not chosen the answer to this because I still have to look at the next thing to say. So don't just rush and say, you must get to that number 1, pick the option and come back. So he said, he immediately gave the Director General 2 sets of papers. Now we have seen whom the person is. So we go back. So, because someone who brings paper from court, so what kind of papers and what do we call them? So, it was a court dash, daily, messenger, litigant, that. So what should be the answer here? Bailiff. A bailiff is one who serves summons and subpoenas. We call them court bailiff. A bailiff is someone who serves subpoenas and summons. That is invitation to court. So we don't call them messengers. Messengers are used in the ordinary offices. The litigants are those who are actually in a case, the plaintiff and the defendant. 2 parties to a case are called litigants. Case itself is called litigation. So that is what we call litigant there. Now, the next question. Okay, the first paper was a dash, writ of summons, subpoena. Can you see now? The 2 things bailiffs serve are written here. So it now depends on, we will have to know which one is bringing now. Immediately gave the Director General 2 sets of papers. The first was a dash, writ of summons, subpoena, call notice, letter, which was to notify the Director General that he and the agency the representative were being sued for dash. Okay. Now, The kind of book, the kind of papers it could bring, we have subpoena, we have summons. Okay, both are writs, but in as much as this person is being invited that he has a case to answer, then that is a writ of summons. Okay, that is a writ of summons. A subpoena is an invitation to court to stand as witnesses or bring evidences. That's what differentiates the two. Please listen here. Summons are used to invite, that is, that you actually have a case to answer. Then, subpoenas are used to invite to stand as witnesses or to bring evidences before the court. So that is why the first paper was a writ of summons. So which was to notify the Director General, because that is a notification, that he and the agency he represented were being sued for dash. So what are they being sued for? Battery, slander, libel, contempt, and I should seek the services of a lawyer who would appear for him on the 6th of July when the case was for mention. So what could they have been sued for? That is what we are yet to know. That is it battery, slander, libel, or contempt. So definitely we cannot choose yet until we further look at the next place. Next. The second paper was on motion of dash summons. Okay. Another paper, because there are two sets of paper the bailiff brought. One was writ of summons. Then the second paper was on motion of dash. Motion of summons, order, decision, interlocutory injunction, which, if granted by the court, will rein the Director General or the dash, okay, from publishing further anything on the staff of the ministry. Now we have gotten answer to the previous one because it was publishing. So definitely now we know what they are being sued for. The previous one, please. Now, okay, that they are being sued for dash. So for publishing, that is publishing something that is defamatory or seditious. So that is what libel. We have sedition, offenses of sedition. Sedition means defamation of character. That is, you're actually defaming someone. Inflammatory statement against someone else's personship. So they are into two. We have slander. Slander is always oral. That is the difference. Slander is oral. Had it been on a radio station now, since this one is publishing, then that was what gave us an inkling as to the fact that it's illegal. Then if it is oral, then it would have been slander. Okay. Contempt. Contempt means a kind of recalcitrance to court. You are not respecting, a kind of disrespect to court. Maybe you are invited to the court, you refuse to answer, or you disrupt court processes. Maybe when the judge is presiding over and you cause some sort of noise there. So that is a contempt of court. Battery. Battery is an unallowed or unauthorized malicious touching of someone else's item or body. So you batter the person. So that is assault. Assault if it is just mere, then battery if it is malicious touching or wounding of someone. So that's what we call battery there. So you can see the issue of battery here is different from the battery we use at home. So we have accessories, we have some, that is why some languages, like I said, they are not the same as the one you use in ordinary sense. Like there was someone who was in court proceeding one day, and they were yet to actually preside over the cases. And that man went there just like an electrician. He was asked, "Are you one of the accessories?" He said, "Yes." He was not a party to any case there. He was there to just make amendments to their electrical work. He said, are you one of the accessories? Only yes. When they were bundling him into that was when they started shouting, yeah, 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 electrician in there. So, you know, that's why at times anything you don't know, quickly ask, what do you mean? But because you don't want anybody, you want to behave as if you understand English. He said yes. So at times anything you don't know, you quickly ask. So now, then that he should seek the services of a lawyer who would appear for him on the 6th of July when the case was for mention. Now the next one. The second paper was on motion of dash, which if granted by the court will reign the Director General or the Director General now. Another name for the Director General here is what? Because that is the issue of all there. It will reign on the Director General or the dash from publishing. It is the Director General that is being referred to here. So what will he be in that case? Now, is he a defender, a defendant, a litigant, or a prosecutor? Someone who a case is brought against is a what? Defendant. Defendant. So, like I said, there are instances whereby there are some answers you can pick before the previous one. Now we have even gotten directly, we have gotten the answer to number 10, even before 9. So now this one is solved. We go back here now. That is, if it is granted by the court, will reign the Director General or the dash, the defendant. The Director General is also the defendant. A plaintiff is one who brings case to the court. A defendant is one whom a case is brought against. So if I am suing you, I am the plaintiff, you are the defendant. So now, and they now say the second paper is saying, if that thing is granted, then that is you that I am accusing, will not be able to further publish anything on the staff of the ministry. So that is, you will never be able to publish any paper. So what can be used? So that is, we have what we call that would disallow the defendant from doing that now. So what do we have? Is it a summon, an order, a decision, or an interlocutory injunction? So what should the second paper be? A prohibitive order of court is called what? A prohibitive order of court is called injunction. So the next paper, the second paper is an injunction. We have two types of injunction: interlocutory and perpetual injunction. Interlocutory means between the case, as it is still going on, stop first. Okay, but a perpetual injunction is a permanent one, that this thing must not be done. So that means the court has given the verdict on it that it must not be done perpetually. But this one is an interlocutory injunction because it only came up within the case. Do you understand now? So, in someone we have actually talked about someone. The decision of the court is the verdict. The order of the court is the command of the court, maybe to do something or not. Why an injunction is a prohibitive order. If you are seeking an injunction, it is to prohibit maybe someone from doing something. So, now, from publishing further anything on the staff of the ministry or the dash. Now, the staff of the ministry is also the second one, or the dash. So who should the staff of the ministry be now? Since the Director General is the defendant, so the staff of the ministry will be the what? Witness, exhibits, plaintiff, perjurer. Yes, plaintiff. I had already explained this that plaintiffs are the people that bring case against you, while you as the defendant is the one against whom a case is brought. So the staff of the ministry serves as the plaintiff here. The motion, okay, exhibits some kind of evidences uh, that are gathered to back up some witnesses. You that have been accused of maybe arm running, that is, you are in possession of firearms, you sell, you buy. So, and I can now see some kind of pellets of bullets on you. So definitely those are exhibits. They are enough to tell you that, okay, you are in possession of firearms, which is against the law. So, in perjury is an offense of telling lies on oath, something that is not true. Or you may go and make false witness. So you are a perjurer or somebody who commits perjury. So, witness is one who is brought before the court, okay, to tender evidences for or against parties in suit. Now, the motion was also slated for 6th July. On the day of the mention and the motion, the court became alive as early as 3:30 a.m. As the dash, presiding judge, court clerk, justice, prosecutor, was known for his punctuality, he would sit at exactly 9 a.m. So, who will sit there? The presiding judge. The presiding judge. The plaintiffs and their counsels. Counsels are the attorneys that are representing parties in case. Okay, the lawyers that are representing each of the parties in case. So we have the prosecuting counsel, which is the plaintiff's counsel, the defense counsel. By the time they get to court, you no longer call them lawyer or barrister, you call them counsels. That is what they hear when there's court proceeding. Okay. Then, the plaintiffs and their counsel were the first to come into the courtroom. Then came the defense counsel. You can see what I said, the defense counsel. So we have the plaintiff's counsel, we have the defense counsel. At the dot of the hour, 3 bangs were heard, immediately after which the court clerk announced the presence of the judge. In no time, the court clerk read out the case and both counsels announced their dash. What do counsels announce? That is like the one you do in school when registers are called. So, but for that of court counsels, that is lawyers representing parties, what do? They announce their presence, their appearance, their arrivals, their interest. What do they announce? Appearances. Appearances. That I am barrister so from so person standing as a prosecuting counsel. Then this person too. So that is what we know as appearances. Okay. Next. The counsel to the plaintiff moved his motion relying on a 6-paragraph dash, okay, which contained the facts of the case. So what should contain the facts of the case, and which is paragraph? Oath, affidavit, presentation, argument. Yes? Affidavits. Affidavits. It was a 6-paragraph affidavit. So, which contains the facts of the case. In response, the defense counsel argued on the premise of an 8-paragraph dash, counter affidavit, declaration, submission, summons. Counter affidavit. When you dig an affidavit against me, this is what he did, this is what he did, this is what he did, premised on which kind of laws have I broken. Then the defense counsels will also come up with counter affidavit that, okay, yes, this happened, but There are reasons for this. So I'm trying to counter what you have brought. So we have affidavits and counter affidavits. So the motion was granted according to the merit of the argument of the first lawyer. Is that understood now? So the same way you have to, the same approach you employ as to any other field that is given to you. It may be that of medicine. On my first day, I think I went to see a doctor. I was examined, then symptoms, diagnosis. These are words used. Not that you say the doctor said I have malaria. I was diagnosed of malaria. Administration of drugs, all those kind of words you get in tune with. That was why I said it is one thing to speak, it is another to speak well. You could have spoken and the only thing you are just saying are not the right collocations. Say, why don't you give me my respect? Meanwhile, you don't give respect, you accord respect. It was not accorded this respect. So these are words you should know. So you are going to be given sets of words that align with there, but they are not actually those words that must be used. Is that understood? Any question about that? Now we move to the next aspect. I think mixes and structures. Okay. This one covers array of places. All the topics we have been taught, okay, in different forms are actually asked here, ranging from conditional clauses, concord rules, prepositions, tenses, sentence forms, spellings, calligraphy, so, and a host of others. All these ones are contained under structural aspects. So we have like maybe 10 questions there too. So it covers any of the topic question tags, anyone you can think of. So you should be able to pick the right kind of options to here. So pick the option that best completes the sentences. Dash, I will tell you. Mind you, especially these aspects, we have reasons for the answers. You don't just choose. There are rules guiding grammar. As I would always say, not as if English changes. Because we do hear people saying English don't change now. It's not what we used to say before. You used to say rubbish before. It is the day you know that it is actually wrong. That is when you now say it has changed. It's never changed. The one you were saying was rubbish. You got to know that this is the right way to say it. You now say it has changed. There are rules guiding most of these things. You don't just say them. So if you abide by those rules, definitely you get your questions correctly. Dash, I will tell you. If he came, if he had come, if he comes, if he were to come, had he come? Yes. Answer. Yes. You are now having A, B, C. This is where you choose rubbish. Okay. And mind you, the more you start to read most of the options to your ears, the more they look like answers. So actually, not to waste much of our time, this is under conditional clauses. Conditional clauses are treated with tenses. Okay, the answer is A. If he came, I would tell you. Now, reason. Okay, the tense of the condition determines the tense of the complement. Okay, you may be provided with Now, this is how the questions come. It is either you are provided with the complement and you have to look for the condition. Please be decorous. Or you'll be given the condition and asked to look for the complement. Mind you, the complement here is past tense. He said, I would tell you. I would tell you. This is past tense. Now, if he came. So, had it been, the complement says, I will tell you. Will tell. I will tell you. Here will be if he comes. Now you can see the condition. If the answer should be C, here will be I will tell you. So will tell if he comes. That is present tense, present tense. This one is past tense, that one is past tense. Then the answer would have been B or E. B and E are the same sentences. The same thing. If he had come is the same as saying had he come. So, and that is the perfect tense. Past, past, present, present, perfect, perfect. So the answer would have been B or E if what is written here is I would have told you. You get what I mean now? Here would have been I would have told you. I would have told you if he had come. So if your condition should have an anomalous verb, if your condition should have an anomalous verb which is had, then the complement must also have an anomalous verb. I will invite you if I come. I would invite you if I came. I would have invited you if I had come. Is that understood now? Do you have any problem about that? So that is the reason for the answer. So if he came, I would tell you. If he had come, I would have told you. If he comes, I will tell you. The next question. The dead body of the armed robber has dashed in the street for 3 days. Late, lane, late, light, late. Option what? Yes. Okay. Now, the answer is B. Because you can see has there, which is an anomalous verb. We have lie. Because we have, so we call them often confused words. We have two types of lie. The first lie, that is to say the untrue. The untrue. The past tense is lie. The perfect tense is also lie. That is first lie. Then we have lie. The second lie. To repose or sleep. Go and lie on the bed. Go and lie on the bed. The past tense is lay. You lay here yesterday. I lay on the floor when we arrived. That is past tense of lie too. Then the perfect of it is laying, the one which we need here. Because we have the issue of has, which is anomalous verb. Anytime you have anomalous verb, you should have a perfect tense. Have you ever lain on this type of foam before? Have you ever lain? We now have another word that is lay. That is present tense. Like the one done by oviparous animals. Like birds, apes, spices, they lay eggs. The past tense is laid. So if you are picking a, you are talking about such kind of tense. That is, the body of the animal has laid. If you say laid, it is the one done by oviparous animals, animals that lay eggs. That is all. My hen has actually laid some eggs. It also means lay two again, to give or spread. He laid a lot of examples. He laid a lot of examples for us. So that is why it is not a. He is out of it. The light is past tense of to say the untruth. Is that now understood? The next question. Dash. Had the woman resumed than we sacked her. No sooner, hardly, scarcely, really, barely. Yes? You can see that all options can actually stand there. That is why, like I told you, you don't solve them using suitability. That is how suitable it is to your ears. Ordinarily, it already has a kind of rules it follows. These are correlative conjunctions. You will be provided with the conjunct, then you'll be asked to look for the correlate. You have no sooner than. The answer is A. Having seen the word than there as a conjunction there, then the correlator should be no sooner. Hardly, when. Had it been in place of than, we have when there. Had it been we have when in place of that than, then the answer will either be B or C. Okay. Hardly had the woman resumed when we sacked her. Scarcely had the woman resumed when we sacked her. No sooner had the woman resumed than we sacked her. So the conjunct will dictate the correlate. So we have either or, neither nor, not only but also. So that, such that. So their conjuncts will determine their correlate. Do you understand what I mean? At times too, you will be provided with this and they will remove the conjunct. You can say, I had hardly seen her. I had hardly seen her, dash she called. That she called, then she called, then she called, when she called. What would be the answer? When she called. Because you have seen the word hardly. So it's that you are provided with it, and this will be asked, or this, then this will be asked. I hope that is clear. The next one. It is bad to take dash property without permission. Okay? Someone else, someone else's, someone else's, someone else's, someone else. Option. Yes. So assuming these are the questions you are given, what do you think you could have scored? Okay. We are talking about indefinite possessive. Okay. Possessive nouns. Then indefinite. So the answer is D. Someone else's property. It is someone else. then possessing becomes someone else's. Okay, someone else is the word. So it now possessed something, someone else's property. Is that taken? The next question. The man with his wives and children dash arrived. Have, has, had, were to, have to. Yes? Yes? These are rules of concord. Concord rules. That is, having to pick between, is it singular or plural? What's the answer here? Has. Has. The man with his wife and children has arrived. The reason is that don't be confused about the multiplicity of people there. What determines the verb there is the man. The man is the true joiner, the true subject. With, anytime you use with in joining entities, with is a first joiner. So that's what we call first entity. So anytime you use, had it been you said the man and his wives and children, the answer would have been have, which is plural. But when you say the man with his wives, with is a first joiner. So anytime you use with in conjunction with, okay, as well as those words, with, in conjunction with, as well as, alongside, flanked by, in company of, to use all those entities, we call them false joiners. So the first person you mentioned only determines the verb, irrespective of the number of people that were later mentioned. The first person you mentioned, if the person is a singular, then you have a singular verb. If the person is a plural, you have a plural verb. So that's why you say the man with his wife and children has arrived. It is because of the word with. Then it cannot be had, because before you use had, you must have at least two clauses. Two things must happen. Maybe the man with his wife and children had arrived before we came. You know, we came is another clause. Then that one will return to had. But in as much as we have just one event here, there should be a present perfect tense, not a past perfect. Do you understand? So it is because we have first joiner with, that is why we are having singular verb. The next question. My friend sells women's wear. Okay, woman wear. Women's wear. There's apostrophe after N. Women wear. Women's wear. Option what? Yes. You should know what your brother sells or your friend sells now, right? Where that belong to women. So actually the answer is A. So now this is the reason. I need that. Okay. One, we have possessive. The issue of possession. It should be a plural possession. So normally the answers should have been between A and E, because it should be plural possession. It cannot be B, because it must be plural in nature. Then it cannot be D, because it must possess. Do you understand? Now, talking about C, C does not exist because in the rule of possessives, woman is an irregular noun. Irregular noun. We have two types of them, regular nouns and irregular. Regular nouns are nouns that take s or es as their plurals. Irregular nouns are those ones that change completely or they remain the same. So example of irregular noun is woman. It becomes women. And that is different from when you have tables, chairs. But woman is women. So for both singular and plural irregular nouns, the apostrophe should come before s. Had it been it were regular nouns, then we can have apostrophe after s. For an instance, boys, hostel. The apostrophe will be after s for plurals. If the apostrophe is before s, then that will be singular. So apostrophe should come after s because this one is a regular noun. Regular nouns are nouns that form their plurals by adding s or es. So that is why we have apostrophe after s. Okay, so we can easily say boys hostel here. But when it is man, for both singular and plural, my man's car, men's whatever, men's car. So the apostrophe should come before s for both singular and plural. But if it were regular nouns, apostrophe will come before s for singular, after s for plural. So that is why C does not exist. Now, this thing should have been plural, just like this, where. But the reason it's not E now, is because where belongs in some kind of nouns we call singularia tantum. They don't take S. I love all your wear. Nothing like I love all your wears. I sell wear. I sell men's wear. I sell children's wear. So nothing called wears. If you use wears, then it becomes a verb. One thing about that kind of tire, I don't like it. It wears always. So that is where you use wear. So we have some words like that, where they don't take S. Stationary, mind you, cutlery. Cutlery is cutlery. Furniture, equipment, deer, confectionery, staff, chalk, bread, and so on and so forth. Sheep, cattle. Those words, when you see them, we call them singularia tantum. Don't put S. Information. So irrespective of the number they are, it remains. Then as well, we have some that are pluralia tantums. They are plural words. That is, anytime you see them, they must have S. Okay, those ones must always have S. They are antagonists of this. Those ones, they are singulars, but they will take S. So we call them pluralia tantrums. So for instance, bounds, whereabouts, loggerheads. Okay, measles, statistics, mathematics, surroundings, premises, headquarters. All these ones, Those ones are top there. They are opposite of this. These ones are singular tantrums. Those ones are pluralia tantrums. Anytime you want to say them, you must put S. Our headquarters is located in Lagos. The premises is clean. I love the surroundings. They are at loggerheads. I don't know your brother's whereabouts. Not whereabouts. I don't know his whereabouts. It must take S. Suburbs. This place is out of bounds. This place is out of bounds to non-users. So be careful those words. They are only used into deceiving you while choosing your answers. Do you now understand now? Do you understand? In the next question. They were all to converge dash the hall for the meeting. In, inside, into, on, at. Converge, on, to converge on. Okay, that is option D. It doesn't look suitable, right? That is the reason. You can imagine the reason you pick wrong answers and come back home that you finish the English. Exactly, this is the point. Most times when I see candidates, they will laugh. Now exam, they say, if I very simple, especially English. By the time results now come, and people said you did the English well. This is 41. Yeah, I don't know how they marked it. These are the reasons because you have smilingly chosen wrong answers and you are coming back that you have dealt with the whole thing. And that was why I told you it is not persuitability. There are some agreeing prepositions. A word will determine the preposition used. So if you use the word converge, the next preposition must be on. But if you said assemble or gather, it will be in. They were to assemble in the hall for the meeting or gather in the hall. But in as much as you use the word converge, it is on, irrespective of the fact that maybe it is inside, maybe it's an enclosure, it doesn't matter. So we have some words like that. The news was broadcast on the radio. On the radio, not over the radio or inside the radio. I saw you on the television. He came here on foot, not with foot. So you should be mindful of those. He was sent on errands, but he went into exile. So mind the use of such prepositions. Is that understood? The next question. I would rather you dash him now. Call, called, are calling, are to call, calls. Yes? Option what? That is option B, called. Okay, you are looking at the fact that issue of now or that it should be present. It is agreement with would rather. Agreement with would rather in the miscellaneous use of Concord. Grammar agreement. After you use would rather, it is time. It's high time. Wish. You should use past verb. I would rather you saw him today. It is high time we stopped talking. It is time they released the results. I wish you called him, even if he has not done so. These are the reasons. You can see as the way you are picking the wrong ones. Because you have been solving using suitability method. This is wicked. It looks terrible. Meanwhile, you are not attending to the fact that you have some rules that are guiding those grammar words. So anytime you see something like this, you should know the next verb is past. Next question. That's enough. He didn't come. The, even some of these questions, had it been that you have been watching the YouTube videos and this, I've taught very many of these, and I still want you to still go and look at them well before you write your exams. There are some aspects you may not be able to touch. So on your own, rather than wasting your data on games, schema, Vera, Ibon, I don't know, a non-existing gun. A boy was telling me that he has just bought a gun that is, he mentioned the name, one of these Kalashnikovs. I say, where is it? Is it that you want to? I did not know it was an imaginary gun. He was talking to his friend. Àwọn ìbọn tóun ti rà báyìí kì í ṣe díẹ̀. Say, where are we safe? Is it that we want to start? You know, say no, game, the game. You know, like by the way, someone was driving along the road. Then the police accosted him and said, "Open your boot. What is in your boot?" He said, "I will not open it." You know, he was trying to create a scene. He said, "What is here?" He said, "Bullets." Bullets. Now come out. You're under arrest. What's in your boot? He said, "Bullets." You know, they became more enraged that you have bullets and you are still saying bullets. That you are going to the station. When they started, at the end of the day, on opening the boot, truly, it was bullet drink. He said a bullet. Not no, it's ordinary drink. That was your, look, he said, is it not bullet? So now it is funnily enough. Okay, not funny enough. Funnily enough. Okay. These are common errors. The expression is funnily enough. It's like this one too, that is very common too. And he has taken it personal. He has taken it personally. That little thing we just said, he took it personally.
To agree that the teacher
He
is
said, don't take it personal. The word should be an adverb, not an adjective. Can you say he did it beautiful? What we have, he did it beautifully. Now say you took it personal. So it should be, he took it personally. Yeah, you do get it. He took it beautifully. You cannot say he took it beautiful. So why personal? It's not. Why is it not? So he took it personally. Please don't take it personally. He was just joking. You understand? That's how you see questions not well answered. So funnily enough, he didn't come. The next one. My father and commissioner for education dash arrived.
Has. Have.
Had. Where to? Yes, has. That is singular. The reason is my father is also the commissioner for education. There would have been different answers if after that and you see article D. There is a difference between my father and the commissioner for education and my father and commissioner for education. This one is referring to the same person. My father and commissioner for education has arrived. That is singular. The father is also the commissioner. But I didn't mean he said my father and the commissioner for education. If article D is after that and, then there will be two different entities. So this is what we call Siamese subject. The same person having different positions.
Is that taken? Next question.
Interpretations. This is another
Tactical aspect. Okay.
figurative meanings. They want to test your level of understanding some kind of thematic
Approach as to answering questions. That is,
now you say, okay,
yes,
English is
what you have studied for some time,
about 6 years in high school,
for about another 6 years in,
pre-high schools. Now you
you cannot interpret above normal expressions. So it is expected as a scholar to be able to do.
so some words will be given to you in form of idioms, proverbs, phrasal verbs, and you'll be asked to say what they mean. What they mean. Now, pick the option that convey the information given. The presence of the captain makes the sailor ill at ease. The presence of the captain makes the sailor ill at ease. So we have a number of idioms. You can still get them learned before you write your exams. Have cup full of knowledge of them. If they mean this is also uh, more than about two marks. It has the same allocated mark with register. Sickly, impatient, easily ill, uncompatible, sad, uncomfortable. When you are ill at ease, ill at ease, that is uncomfortable. Next question. Her death was a bolt from the blue to us. A bolt from the blue to us. Her death was a bolt from the blue to us. Her death bolted us together. Her death caused confusion. Her death sealed our hopes. Her death was unexpected. Her death was just announced. Was not as unexpected. Unexpected. They went it from the blue. You don't really expect it. Next. Jide and Andrew live in each other's pocket. That is, they are living in each other's pocket. So they steal from each other. They blackmail each other. They are very close to each other. They are long-term business partners. They are far from each other. They are very close to each other. That is someone whom you rely on. That you can always confide in and rely on. Whatever the person has is yours. This or this. Next. Mr. Rufus bore the brunt in the last promotion exam. He failed woefully. He excelled in the exam. He was excited about the exam. He toiled with the exam. He disallowed others from writing the exam. He failed woefully. To bear the brunt means to be the one to carry the misfortune. He failed woefully. Next question. Mr. Okon has been described as an eagle-eyed editor. Short-sighted, clear-sighted, long-sighted, quick-sighted, slow-sighted. Yes? Clear-sighted. Clear-sighted. That can see every in detail. It looks everywhere. Okay, not just quick. It is. You are looking at the way eagles speak, right? There is quick. No, before it picks, before it picks, it had actually looked at everywhere. He knew the coast is clear. Before an eagle picks anything, he might have been wavering for like 30 minutes there, looking at the best approach. Next. Okay. Yes, here we go on lexis, purely lexis now. That is synonyms, antonyms, whatever. Now we have synonyms here. In each of these questions, choose the options nearest in meaning to the underlined one. So we have array of options given. The man stealthily moved into the room. Stealthily, loudly, slowly, fastly, quietly, openly, quietly, quietly, stealthily, that is secretively, unnoticeable. Next. Miriam looks rather forty to Shalom, intoxicated, unfriendly, sad, sly, ungodly. 40, sly, sly, that cannot be trusted, having some underhand behavior, sly. Next. The woman was vilified for worship, gifts, elected, challenged, condemned, praised, impeached. Yes? Condemned. Condemned. She claimed her new neighbor is nauseating. She claimed her new neighbor is nauseating, disrespectful, disgraceful, discouraging, disgusting, appealing, disgusting. Since you have a good knowledge of synonyms, so it's a misnomer to call 3,000 naira a living wage. It's a misnomer to call 3,000 naira a living wage. An appropriate term, a wrong description, a mismatch, an incontrovertible assertion. Yes? A wrong description. A wrong description is a misnomer. Now pick the options that are opposite the meaning. Now, mind you, when you are doing this, please always remember in your mind that you have left synonym. Because at times that is where students make mistakes. You have forgotten you are on antonym, because synonyms will still be under antonyms. So always register in your mind that this is the one I'm doing. The doctor examined the patient painstakingly, perfunctorily, professionally, painfully, carefully, wickedly. Perfunctorily, that is what I'm still saying. We are on antonyms now. Carefully is painstakingly. So perfunctorily is the answer now, which is opposite. Then, next one. Updating the brochure. Updating the brochure is an arduous task. Arduous, annual, easy, demanding, regular, collective. Yes? Easy. Because arduous is demanding. So, opposite, easy. Do you understand what we are doing now? This is critical aspect. Always remember that you are having to choose the opposite. Not that you still register the nearest, because the same meaning will still be put. Opposite meaning will be put. Then next one. The president gave an extemporaneous speech last week. Extemporaneous. Unprepared, fascinating, planned, unfavorable, derogatory, planned. Extemporaneous means unprepared.
Okay, then the opposite will now be what? Planned. Next. My eldest brother is now faced with vicissitudes of married life. Vicissitudes of married life. Amazement, sweetness, amiability, stability. Yes,
What are the S you have to say?
stability,
Literature.
stability. Vicissitudes mean uncertainty.
And oh,
Hence, vicissitudes means uncertainty. Now, this one is certain. So, stability. Next, the labor leaders.
The East is not there. The labor leaders' recalcitrant stance was applauded.
The
Labor
labor
leaders' recalcitrant stance was applauded. Stubborn, flexible, uncompromising, well informed. Yes? Recalcitrant stance was applauded. Yeah, what will it be? Flexible. Flexible. Recalcitrance as used there means stubborn and rigid. Then not wanting to change. The flexible there is easily changeable. Is that well understood? Now we'll go to the oral forms. All right. I think this is the simplest aspect. Okay. So, but to me, it is the simplest. Okay. You must have been taught most of these phonetics, sounds, rhymes, stress, you know. Now, in each of the questions, choose the option that has the same consonant sound as the one represented by letters. The first one is what pronounced was facade, facade, facade. So what would be the answer? Process. A. Process. Because B is accrue. Accrue. C is lock. D is brochure. So we have facade. The C there is not packaging, it's facade. Next question. What's the pronunciation? Yes? Then what was the answer? Yes? The word is hunter, hunter. The answer is home, option C. Okay. I know you will pick wrong things there. The word is pronounced hunter, hunter. Okay. There are some J's pronounced as H. We have hunter. We have ohoba, fighters. The J's you see here, they are pronounced H in those words. Ohoba. Okay. So we have home. That one is jail, hour, leisure. The H in B is silent. Next question. Next question. Wake. Okay, wake. Then the answer is what? Sweet. Option C. Sweet. Wake, sweet. You pronounce them the same way. The same thing. This is law. Repeated. Law. The W there is not pronounced. Haw, not war. Haw. So this one has sweet, which is wake, sweet. Next question. In each of these questions, choose the option that has the same vowel sound. We have treated consonant, so this is vowel. So what's the answer here? Yes? What's the pronunciation? Fatal. Fatal. Okay. He died in a fatal accident. Fatal. So option B, asexual. Asexual. The A there is A, asexual. This is flat. Option A is flat, asexual. Mass, father, asexual, fatal. So they have A there. Next question. What's it pronounced? Finance, finance. So we are looking for I. What is the answer? Stipend. That one is granite. Granite. You pronounce it granite. The first one is pronounced granite, not granite. Granite. Believe. Stipend. Stipend. Weapon, not weapon. Weapon. Finance. Stipend. Next question. Yes, the answer is option C. Brother. Brother. So we are looking for the central vowel, brother. So which is in blood. Blood. The first one is hot. This is God, long O. This is blood. The same in brother. Then Paul. Next. Choose the appropriate stress pattern from the options. Okay. Congratulations. Now the answer is what? D. D. So D, the LA is stressed. The LA is stressed. So whenever you see the TION or SION ending word, they are stressed on the penultimate syllable, that is next to the last. So 1, 2, next to the last syllable. Whenever you see shun ending word, so you should take note of that. It is the next level to that shun that is stressed. Next question. Acupunctural. A. Acupunctural. Next question. Okay. Indispensable. B. Indispensable. So also when you have BLE, maybe IBLE or ABLE ending word, they are stressed on the third from the end. 1, 2, 3. Impossible. 1, 2, 3. So you know where it is. So anything BLE ending. So you count 1, 2, 3. Third from the end. That's where you get it stressed. Next question. Okay. Choose the option that rhymes with the given words. What's the answer? D. Lock. Lock. They are pronounced the same way. Lock. The GH there is K. Lock. Lock. That is an inlet of water. It's pronounced lock. So it has the same with option D. Next question. Plow. Cow. C. Cow. It must be the ending right. Owl. Okay. This one is owl. Owl. There is L after it, so it cannot rhyme with it. So the last one. Now the next. Draft. 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 Craft. Option C. That one is called draft. This is drought. But craft. Raft. So this one and option C. Craft. Draft. Craft. Next one. In each of the following, choose the option in which the given sentence relates. That is emphatic stress. They compelled him to do it. Yes? Okay, D. Did they beg him to do it? I know if you don't know other ones. This one. Okay. Next question. You choose this as my son is a student. Yes. D. Yes. Is your son a footballer? Next. I love white cars. Yes. Look at it well. Oh. Don't think it is like, yeah. C. The answer is C. The answer, D cannot be an answer because two things have been changed. That's why I said look at it well. Hate, cycles. Okay, so this one has been mitigated with because the thing must still remain cars. So go and check it well. Don't think before because you know it. You said so. Option C says what color of cars do you love? That is white. Is that understood? Any question? I wish you best of luck. Yeah. Have you crazy?
All right. Thank you very much for for the use of English and the like today. After English, you guys will be having physics slash uh, literature, okay, account or commerce. Then after that, there will be then there will be chemistry slash CRS and economics. And just to make up your mind that you'll be living here between 5:45 and 6 p.m. You understand? But hello, uh, now there'll be break interval. There'll be break interval, and the break is just 15 minutes. So either you whatever you want to do, maybe in between the subject, just make sure you maximize the 15 minutes so that you will not miss out too much. You understand? Maximize 15 minutes that we given. So by 11, this is 11:25. Uh, how are we going to divide ourselves? The sciences will maintain this place. The sciences will maintain this place. And we have two other principal classes. Uh, one here for commercial. There is one beautiful class there for the art students. Are you getting it? So art will move to that side. Commercial students will move to this side. Hold on, let me finish talking. So art, art there and commercial students here. So like I said, then we've shared the link. You can send the link to your friends, and in case you have some of your friends that still want to learn, you can tell them to watch from the link. It's on YouTube. And don't forget, make sure you subscribe. And eh? Mr. Alpha. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We give you just 15 minutes for the break. 15 minutes.